Joshy, from the flip side, you guys have got games on today. So for these 22, it was probably a tough decision. But then again, you've also got the big V. Obviously, it's the flip side round, the white with the blue V. But still just as important to represent AFL Vic Country.
Yeah, spot on. 3 out of the 6 leagues represented in, today had the bye last week. So bit of a tough choice for some of the players, particularly in the GFL from down my way. Top of the table clash this afternoon. And there's plenty of representatives from both those sides out here today. So a tough one, isn't it? But as you say, the pull of the big V is a big one. You can't underestimate it. It's probably a bigger thing for country guys to play this than it is interleague. You're probably a better chance of seeing them, the best players out here today, than you are in a league rep game. So, yeah, as I say, I'm really expecting a good showing today.
Throughout the afternoon, we'll give you as much information as possible on all 44 of the players out there. As you can see on your screen, the boys are lined up. Vic Country about to stand alongside them. Pete Laser, MC, Master of Ceremonies. Alicia Min will be singing the national anthem, as we might just pause for a moment as Pete Laser gets the official proceedings underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Icon Park for the Brian Maloney Cup. AFL Victoria would like to thank all of our leagues, clubs, staff, players and coaches from AFL Victoria Country and the VAFA for making this event possible. Congratulations to all the players who have been selected to represent each team and those appointed as umpires for the match. Firstly is a show of sportsmanship. We'll ask the umpires to break into 2 groups and shake hands with our competing teams. Today we wish our umpires well and we wish our players as well. So umpires, please shake hands with our players. We'll show sportsmanship to start today. We also thanks to Danny Frawley, coach of WorkSafe AFL Vic Country, and Stuart Powell, VAFA Big V coach. Big thanks to all the assistant coaches, support staff for all the time that contributed towards enabling the players to experience the match today. Thank you to our umpires. We wish them well for this afternoon's game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I can ask you please to be upstanding and join with the players, coaches and umpires as we welcome Alicia Min to perform the national anthem of Australia.
So Alicia Min, Nico, belting out the national anthem. She doesn't do a worse job ever.
Oh, mate, that is one of the most nerve-wracking I can only imagine. Unfortunately, I've never had that opportunity.
You tell me you can't sing?
No, unfortunately, I've never been asked to do that. No, Alicia's a fantastic singer. She's done it for quite a few of our grand finals.
Does she ever?
And that's about as nerve-wracking as you get on the live stream. Obviously, thousands of people watching across Victoria.
It's about to be a lockout. Gil's here.
Yes, Gil has arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
Gil's here, but she does a magnificent job, and she's an absolute superstar of the Amos competition. Before we knuckle down into the first bounce, boys, I'll go to you first, Joshy. Just the leadership group from an AFL Vic Country point of view for people who are out there may not know who they are. Yeah, so Adam Baird is the captain for this year. He's 9 interleague appearances back at Golden Square. If you don't mind. He's had a handful of appearances now in the Big V too. Won the medal for Vic Country last year in the Victoria for Vic Metro. Sam Dobson and Lockie Smith are the 2 vice captains as well. So and plenty of experience in those 3 as well. So they are the leadership group for Vic Country. I noticed the conditions are probably going to suit what we would say, Nico, are the country boys. One of them out there, Nathan Horbury, number 7's got the long sleeves on today. Keep your eye on him. He's one to watch. From an AFL VAFA perspective, an AFL Vic Country perspective, from the AFL VAFA perspective, Nico, the leadership group for the Amos, please. So Josh Fraser was appointed for the first time during the week from Old Melburnians. Josh obviously used to play
VFL at Essendon and got a game in the NAB Challenge during the supplements saga. I know that Josh, you said before that Sam Michael was also getting a game during that. So he's been part of the Big V for a few years now. Josh, I remember talking to him when he was actually playing VFL at Essendon. He said, I just want to get back and play for Old Melburnians, but I want to wear the Big V. So this means so much to him to get the opportunity today. His assistants, Sam Critchley and Harry Hill. Critch, obviously a two-time premiership player at St Kevin's Old Boys and used to be played quite a few years at Williamstown VFL. And Harry Hill, who I mentioned earlier, is an absolute bull at Old Brighton. GT Moore medalist a few years ago and captained them to a flag in Premier B 2 years ago.
Fantastic top three for each of them. Now, as you see, all the players making their way to the positions. So it's all important time to stick our necks on the line, boys. We need your tip, your margin, your best on ground. We'll go with Josh first to my left.
Yeah, I'm going the Vic Country. I think I said 3 points, did I not?
3 points?
3 points.
3
It
points,
was, and I went Adam Baird to win the medal.
Righto. Nico?
The VAFA to get up today by 2 goals in a tight one. I think Nick Wood from St Kevin's will be best on ground.
I was going to go for a draw, but you've told me that you cannot have a draw today, which means that we will have a winner. I'm tipping the Amos by 3 points, and one of my favourites from St Kevin's, Billy Kanakis, kick a few goals and be best player on the ground. But to get us underway in the big game, here's Josh Conway.
We're underway at Icon Park. Geez, neither rucker. They've got Warman in the back there. Wiley couldn't get his handball clear. It'll be the VAFA with the first meaningful possession, and Wood kicks to half forward. Now Mattingley for Vic Country. Handball's a long way back. Sincotta. They're right on the paint of 50. Ryan went very short as the mark paid it is. Just trying to catch it is on the outer side. Can't quite see at the moment. I'll go back to go forward. It's an ordinary kick, and it gives a great chance to VAFA. High ball to the top of the goal square. Interesting selection in the end. Didn't go for home or pass off in the end. The ball spilled clear now. Sincotta goes by hand. Vic Country at half back trying to work it out. Green just paddles one and the ball will go out of play, 60 from home.
So missed opportunity there from Timmy Harper from the VAFA. Obviously stuck in two minds whether he should go for goal or set up at the top of the square. But interesting, Mark Wiley is obviously one of the big midfielders to watch for AFL Vic. Tom Fisher's gone to him. And Josh Green, who we know has kicked a lot of goals for Uni Blues, has started on a wing.
So the rucks go at it. That's for Rato and Sam Michael. In there at the bottom is Thompson. Josh Green's also there. Thompson burrows his way back in again. 2-3 set upon him. The umpire will have the footy. Also, we much mentioned the work of the umpires. Will Ross from AFL Barwon, Andrew Bowden from AFL Northeast Border, and Matty Oakley from the Amos gets this one back underway, but we're going to have a secondary stoppage in the same position. Any sort of positional changes, Nico, from an Amos perspective that you're a bit surprised at the moment?
Well, Sam Critchley has started forward, which is obviously a bit of a surprise. Elliot Grice has gone down back and probably taking that other key position role. But as I said, Green starting on a wing and Kanakis up forward. I imagine them switching throughout the day.
Pavlu sends it inside 50. Going across the front of the pack is the Country boys. That's Nathan Cooper, one to watch today. Again, the pack forms, numbers with it. It's not going anywhere. The umpire will have a secondary stoppage. We've gone a couple of minutes. We've got no score. It's the Amos versus AFL Vic Country.
Just inside 50 for the VAFA. Taken out of the ruck, or tried to, from Harry Thompson. Couldn't quite get a meaningful disposal on it. They go to work at ground level. Have another repeat stoppage here.
Do you find, boys, these games are repeat stoppages? They're so contested?
Particularly early on until it opens up, obviously. There's a few nervous boys out there, as we've mentioned. It's a big day for everyone out there.
So the ball not going anywhere. We'll have it again. Repeat stoppage again. It's about the fifth one in about the last 60 seconds or so. The Ammo's doing all the attacking, the opening couple of minutes, trying to come through. The handball went out the back. Cam O'Shea's down there burrowing in, picking it up, shot it back to Quinn, who sees it over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in.
They are usually contested games, aren't they? Just due to the nature of the players out there. They're usually contested animals in these sort of type of games.
The wind has certainly picked up the last couple of minutes to start the game. Coming through was Keogh, taken high by Josh Green. He'll get the free kick. And the first real chance for AFL Vic Country to go into attacking areas. Keogh looking down the line, wants someone to come at him. Rokar pointing, intercepted by Pavlu. Roving it was Quinn. He just got the handball, but Thompson got the intercept handball, and now he's set upon. Green goes after it. Rokar's got him. Cries of ball. It's going nowhere. The umpire will have this footy again.
And that's what I mean about the nerves early on, boys. Obviously, Zach Keogh, who's a fantastic player down at Marby, won their 2017 best and fairest. He's looked to go inboard at the top of the 50 for the VAFA there and just turned it over. So as he gets a bit more used to the game and everyone gets a little bit more into the game, you won't see those types of mistakes.
Ferrado was dominant in the ruck against Michael there, double palmed it down. And then Pavlu shovels it inside 50. Good fist came from Brad Ryan from Vic Country, but the VAFA emerged with it. Handball clear. Pavlu again, left foot snapping ball. It's just a bit narrow through for the first score of the afternoon, going the way of the VAFA.
And that's the fourth disposal. Yeah, fourth disposal for Pavlu so far. Josh, he started on fire, and we do know that he's been racking up a lot for Brighton this year, and he's averaging 32 and a win. So put it out there. If he has 30, there's a good chance the VAFA will be within it.
Turned over again. O'Shea gathered it, but then coughed it up. Keogh just tumbles one towards Thompson. Wanted the free kick. Nothing doing from the umpire. Ball at centre forward for the VAFA. Nice looking kick two to the hot spot. Just nicely done. Then the ball emerges with Quinn, who just couldn't quite control it cleanly. Ball comes out now, and Vic Country with a bit of space, and Tudor emerges with it from half-back. Kicks to centre wing. 2-on-1 contest in the VAFA's way. Good tackle by Ferrado. In fact, he coughs one up here for a high tackle going the way of Vic Country.
So they'll go inside the centre square. The ball with Adam Baird, the captain. He shot it to Keogh. They all 1-2. They combine. Here's Baird. Inside 50, go AFL Vic Country. Keeping it low, taking the mark. That's Sam Michael, the ruckman, the former Bomber. We'll go back for the first shot of the day. Boys, I'm assuming that the wind is going against him the way we're sitting here today.
Yep.
It is. It is.
It's probably going to be a tough kick.
It's unfortunate for Ferrado to give that free kick away. Obviously, Michael's got free because of that, gone inside 50, and he's got a very good chance to give him the lead.
So here's Sam Michael to kick the first goal of the afternoon. He's on the runway. He kept it low. It's not going to carry the packle form. Ferrado was down there, fisted it to the front. Roving it nicely was Manor. He turned around, tried to zigzag his way out of trouble. There's Freezer, the captain. Got the handball on. They combine. Tom Paul just bangs it out of defence. Coming out to meet it is Harper. He went with the combined handball. Now it's on the wing. First out there to get there first. That's going to be Cam Tudor, who went backwards by hand. Now he can steady, get the kick to Brad Ryan, and Vic Country can settle.
Neat skills from Tudor to Ryan. Going by hand was Marnie, trying to get to the middle of the ground. They run themselves in a bit of trouble, though. The Country boys are outnumbered through the middle here. Cole was wrapped up, holding the footy, and they take the advantage quickly. Now Josh Green to the middle of Icon Park, just kicks for space. You'll hope for a good bounce, and he might get it. It's going. Just pitches on its end on the teeth of goal. Country with the numbers. Horbury's one of them who takes the mark. Thinks about the handball to Roker, but now goes with it. Sorry, that wasn't Roker from half-back, but it's nicely done by Baird, who plays on. He kept it just in, I think. Adam Baird takes a couple of bounces on centre wing. Kick inboard wasn't his best. He had two on through the middle of the park. Coughed it up. Dobson applies some good pressure. Clean hands from Ross. High footy. Thumped clear by Michael, who started well. However, throw in.
How good was that from Adam Baird, the four-time premiership player with Golden Square? I'd noticed in the notes, Joey, he won his last year's BNF by 37 votes.
In a canter.
That either says a lot about him or the comp, doesn't it?
In an absolute canter. He's the captain today for AFL Vic Country. Thrown back in. Ferrado and Michael. Michael one forward. Now the numbers will set on this pack. At the bottom of it, the VAFA picking themselves up. Brett Marnie's in there. And last up is Kanakis. Ferrado won it down. Tried to get it into the path of Hamilton. They intercepted that. Now Hamilton's at ground level trying to pick it up. Get away from three of them. The ball gave Hamilton. Not going anywhere. On the wing, just the one behind so far through Nick Pavlu.
Due to VFL commitments, Gabe hasn't played for 4 years, but when he did last play in Bendigo, he kicked 4 goals through the midfield.
Here is Pavlu getting another kick, a clearance. Coming from behind was Harper. He couldn't get it. Now roving it. Vic Country can clear for the moment. Keogh's going to take the mark. He's also had a bit of it, boys, early. 4 or 5 disposals. Now he can stop and prop. Look to see what's ahead of him. Keogh just pops it high to the wing. They'll fly. Contest. Trying to rove it at ground level in there is Pat McKenna. He came out the back. The kick from Cam O'Shea back down the line and take a good strong mark down there is Cam Tudor.
Good grab by Tudor. His kick had to be neat enough, and it was to Lockie Smith, the vice-captain. Smith goes very short to Cole, who goes quickly by hand to Keogh. Doesn't really move from his last possession. goes short, just coughed it up with a handball though. Pavlo, who started very well, looks to chisel one, but poor ball goes back to Lockie Smith and where he was before. Kicking board is nice. Sincotta just wriggled clear. That was nicely done. He's one to watch for the Country Boys. Rocker's got the overlap if they want, and he does now, but he runs into a big tackle, holding the footy, and they might look to take advantage here, VAFA, and they do. Looping handball over the top now, Rip on to half forward. He's got Green in some space. He's a dangerous man to give some space to. Looks inboard, but the mark taken again by Vic Country, and they'll repel.
That was through Tudor again, getting a lot of the footy down in defence. The clearing kick comes to this side of the ground, the broadcast side. Sam Michael, great stuff below his feet, although he's walked out of bounds. And they're going to have to throw this one back in. Nico, the tackle of Cam O'Shea out on the far side of the ground. They're linking up well, the Vic boys, at the moment.
And that's probably what we've seen Cam bring to Uni Blues, who are now under Heath Jamison, who used to be at St Joey's. I know he coached Cammy Tudor as well. So that's one of the things that Cam's really brought, is that aggression this year, and that's what we can expect to see today.
Here's Nick Pavlou getting a handball up to Harper. He was tackled, and away goes James Hayes, the son of legendary trainer David Hayes. Got it to Keogh. Here's Cam O'Shea, met by Hayes, but
from there on, and it was Vic Country's quarter from that stage. So I think we're set up for a pretty good second half here.
Now, from your perspective, do you think the momentum's going to continue on with the Country, or can you see the Ammos potentially getting back into this game? I know 11 points is not a lot at all, but going on the first quarter where no one scored, if it's a stalemate again going into three-quarter time and we're only 2 or 3 goals, but it's Vic Country got the momentum, do you see them going on with it?
Oh, certainly. If they can keep that run and carry game going, that'll be the biggest thing. I think they're a bit kamikaze by hand, aren't they, coming out of their back half? But at the moment, it's working for them. But that can easily come unstuck if you keep trying some risky handballs. So the VAFA are definitely not out of this by any stretch. They got beaten out of the middle in that bit of the last bit of the second quarter as well, which didn't help. So I think those are the 2 areas that'll decide the game.
Nico, your takeaway from the first half?
Well, it was great. I thought the first quarter and a half, I suppose, from the Ammos, they really took it up to the Country boys. But as you've already said, you and Joshy, it was that last 10 minutes where I thought they just cut us up, particularly through the midfield. They were clean, they were quick, and they just created so much space for their forwards. Pettifer was probably the one who continually got on the end of it. Unfortunately, hasn't brought his kicking boots as such in the first half, but I'm sure he'll straighten things out in the second. So we're probably a bit lucky in that respect. But I thought in terms of the commitment to the ball, and I suppose Camo Shane, Josh Green, I know that they are the former AFL, I know they're Uni Blues boys, but they probably have been a cut above so far in this first half.
So 1 goal to Nick Pavlou, 1 goal to Cam O'Shea, 1 goal to Sam Critchley. That's the Ammos. On the Vic Country side of things, we've got Sam Dobson, Curtis McCarthy, Kane Pettifer for the 1 goal, and Mark Wiley kicked probably the goal of the afternoon so far. That little soccer stuff from about 25 metres out. Had a nice bend on it, and if he was playing the round ball game, it would have been in the top corner, and good luck saving that.
Well, I think we referred to it as a Sam Kerr-esque type strike, wasn't it? No, it was beautiful, and that's what we saw. I mean, the weather's held off, so we're actually seeing, particularly in that second quarter, the boys at their absolute best. There was some highlights there. Joshy Green pulled one off, didn't kick the goal, but centred it, but some great stuff in that quarter. But the Wiley goal, that was phenomenal. He'll be telling his teammates about that. Got no doubt in my mind.
Well, he's got it on the video stream to cut up and put on his Facebook and Instagram pages all year long. Joshy, before we get Nick's thoughts in terms of who's been the best players and his 3-2-1 from the opening half, we just go through for people who may have just been joining us some of the names that are running around today from an AFL Vic Country perspective. I mentioned at the top of the show that Danny Frawley joined us earlier in the week for the Ammos and talked about Nathan Cooper being one to watch, and obviously we've spoken about Kane Pettifer, but some others that people may not be aware of.
Yeah, Cooper's been really solid, hasn't he, down back? He's been a bit of a rock. In regards to former AFL talent, Sam Michael is one who's been pretty good in the ruck. It's been a good battle between him and Ferrado. At this stage, Pat McKenna was on the Melbourne and GWS list as well. He's another. Jason Cole isn't an ex-AFL player, but the co-coach at Seymour is a bit of a star at this sort of level. It's a very, very talented squad, isn't it? Plenty of guys VFL listed as well. Mark Wiley from Carlton and GWS as well, who kicked that great goal, as you mentioned. So plenty of talent across both sides, and it's showing, I think, at the moment, as you say, with the holding off. I think the skill level can only get better from here.
Yeah, certainly. The other one I'd like to mention is James Hayes, as we did during the broadcast, the son of legendary horse trainer David Hayes. Alex Sincotta's another one for potential recruiters to take a look at today. And Curtis McCarthy, brother of Geelong's Lincoln McCarthy, Nico. And from the Ammos perspective, you've mentioned O'Shea and you've mentioned Josh Green, but for people who are just tuning in now, who else can they be looking forward to seeing in the second half?
Well, Nick Pavlou was outstanding in that first half. He found plenty of the ball, as he has been doing all season. He finally got a goal on the board, which was fantastic. The set shot there after a couple of squandered opportunities earlier. So it's good to see him get on the board. But Elliot Legrice, I think, has been really good down back. Sam Critchley's the other one, so we spoke about it earlier, but he's natural defender and spent all his time at clubland in defence, but can go forward, and he showed that in the last 2 games of rep footy that he's played, or the last 2 times he's played AFL Vic Country, is that he's gone forward, he's created a target, and he kicked that beautiful left foot snap from the boundary.
Certainly did. Now, I don't want to be negative in any way, shape or form, but in the second half, I really want to see a bit more from our man, the Ammos man, that is Harry Thompson. I haven't really called a lot of him. I know he took a mark just before half-time out here. And if Billy Kanakis can just shore up his hands a little bit more, then he's dangerous in the Ammos forward line from an AFL Vic Country perspective. I know Mick Mattingly, that's how you say it, Mattingly. He's got highly credentialed. I'd like to see a lot more out of him. I reckon Sean Manor as well. I came into this game pretty excited to watch what he does, the Richmond VFL player, and I know he's had a little bit of it, but I'd like to see a little bit more from him. And maybe the other one is Brett Marnie. Not sure how much you know about Brett. I know he had a couple of kicks off the ground on the far side of the ground, maybe not spending a lot of time on the ground, part of the interchange rotations, but I reckon Brett's got a bit to give in the second half.
Yeah, former Subiaco player, wasn't he, from the Waffle? That is the tough thing with rep games, though. Depending on where you're playing, you can be heavily rotated. The wing can become a bit of a graveyard for players in these sort of games with 4 to 6 players sort of going through there. So it is tough. It's a bit different to a club game in that aspect. But you're right, I think both sides have got a bit to give in regards to that sort of thing.
So, Nico, let's look at the positives from the first half. And if you were to give your 3-2-1 or your 5-4-3-2-1, if you've got 5 from either side, let us know who you reckon's been the best players for both sides so far.
Well, I think Lockie Smith from AFL Vic Country down back has been absolutely phenomenal. He's found plenty of it, and his use of the ball, particularly early when a lot of the players felt probably the pressure and there was a bit of nerves getting around, he used the ball really well. Jason Cole, as you mentioned, has found plenty of it in that second quarter. Let's just hope he doesn't go on to have 60 and
61?
Jeez, that is an absolute day out, and we'll probably keep mentioning it for the rest of the game. Thompson was really good in that second quarter, but I think Keogh has been the one. Maybe his ball use hasn't been elite, Joshy, but he is finding plenty of it through the midfield for AFL Vic Country. And as I said, Pavlu, O'Shea, Green, Critchley and LaGrasse have all been really good for the Big V.
It's interesting, I did a function yesterday with Brendan McCartney, who was talking about, and you just mentioned the wings, Josh. The wingmen are still midfielders, but for some reason it's come into the game that wingmen are wingmen, not midfielders. They don't go into the centre, they stay on the outside. But I think the wings are crucial to nearly every single stoppage, the way they're playing, the way they're done. I'm interested, Nico, from your perspective as part of HQ with the Ammos, when it comes to selecting a side like this. Do you look at specific wingmen? Do you look at a midfielder who can play on the wing? How is the midfield selected? Because so many great players run through the midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at, on paper, our midfield today, it's a very contested type midfield. We've got Fisher in there, we've got Paulie in there, we've got Nick Wood. So we're probably missing a little bit of the polish that we would have had in the past when Mitch Brown, when Viv Mitchell were running through. So what we're seeing today, Harry Hill had been out on the wing. Nick Pavlu would spend a little bit of time there. What you want on the wing, in these types of games, when you've got your contested bulls in the midfield, you want those slicker movers. You want those more polished performers and more polished kicks running through the win. So I guess you do look at it. You still want to take the best midfield that you possibly can, the best midfielder you possibly can. And I think when you've got the 2 or 3 contested mids, you can afford to probably take maybe the 6th or 7th best midfielder if they are a bit better at using the ball and outside.
Joshy, from an AFL Vic Country perspective, we mentioned at the top, you guys have got 44 leagues to pick your 22 players from. I mean, that's a tough enough job in itself, let alone then going to coach them to get them to gel together on a day like today. How does Spud go about picking positions on this team?
He would work the phones hard, I think, in the lead up, trying to get around to all the regions. It is tough. I tend to agree with Nick. I think you do want to pick as good of a midfield as you can. So you can easily slip, say, a goal-kicking midfielder half forward or push someone out to the wing or even to half back if they're a good user. So I think you're less inclined to pick an out-and-out half forward perhaps, and an out-and-out winger when you consider supplementing that with an extra genuine midfielder, I guess, in these sort of games. I think you've probably a better chance of that working than going for specialised guys if they're not key position.
And at the end of the day, when they're as good as they are, like you're talking, you're saying 44 competitions to choose from. We're talking about
We've
10
got
to
10,
15.
12 teams.
I mean, so you're picking the very best of the best. So most of these blokes can play both roles anyway. Yeah. Like you'll have a couple of bulls who are just there for their contested ball, but most blokes are proficient either way you want to play them.
So how does it go? Let's say someone like Nick Pavlu, who's got averaging 30-odd disposals a game with Old Brighton, and you've got, let's use Gabe Hamilton from Trinity. Let's say it came down to the two of them. Do you decide which one of those is going to be a midfielder, or do you put them both in and go, right, we're going to go with Gabe, you're in the centre, Nick, you're the half-forward flank,
Absolutely.
and we just rotate between the two of them perhaps.
No,
but someone else who is maybe a predominant half-forward misses out.
Well, Nick Pavlu is a perfect example of this because he's been playing half-forward, and I suppose for the Vics, but I suppose you go home and he's a midfielder, but he's probably more proficient in that position than Gabe is, who is an out-and-out bull through the midfield. So that's that's a perfect example. So Gabe will spend a lot more time in the middle as opposed to Pavlu, who can play both roles.
And right now, I reckon if you're going to go out of those two anyway, I think Pavlu's had a bit more of the footy. Gabe has had a lot more contested footy.
He's playing the run with role
outside.
too, Gabe.
He certainly is. Now, 11 points is the margin in favour of AFL Vic Country. In the pre-game, we did our tips. Joshy went for the Vic Country boys by 3 points.
Yep.
I went for the Amos by 3 points. You went by 2 goals for the Amos. You want to change? Do you want to do any tweaks to your tips? Your last chance.
No, absolutely not. You got to stick with it. You got to make a decision and stick with it. And I think the boys. Oh, look, we're in for a great second half. We know that. So if it is within 2 goals,
it'll be a belter.
We're laughing.
We certainly are. Joshy, you want to take any tweaks?
No, I'm awfully happy with my tip. just quickly
Be a little
with
bit happier with your own work.
with Marnie, I'm not sure how many centre bounces he's attended. He's in there to start this third term.
He certainly is, and he's standing against Nick Wood, one of the stars of St Kevin's. And here is Wood. It flings out to Harry Thompson, the man I've put the heat on, and the kick goes straight to Harper on his chest. Inside 10 seconds. Harry Thompson in the centre square. Torpedo to Tim Harper.
Yeah, so I don't know how much he meant it, but it absolutely came off, and Timmy Harper luckily on the end of it. But the space created because Thompson, who started at centre half forward, worked up and got that kick through the middle.
So here's Tim Harper in the opening minute of the second half to cut the margin. The kick just goes to the top of the square. He sort of set it up, let the breeze do some work. It didn't help at all. Off hands. It's in the forward pocket. Not a great kick from Tim Harper,
he didn't really kick through it, did he? So I think maybe it got to the last couple of steps and a couple of mines there where they put to the top of the square, or where did he kick through the ball? So unfortunately, that's a missed opportunity.
Now the ball has been punched over into the stands, and the umpire's gone looking for it. He's found one now. Throw this back in, and straight away, all the numbers have pushed up towards this contest. It's going to fall short. Tap to the teeth of goals. Trying to come through, flying through with a kick off the ground and hits the bottom of the post. It's a minor score.
Which catch who that was, boys?
I think it might have been Critchley went off the ground and hit the bottom of the post and hit the fat bit.
I think he was watching Mark Wiley earlier in the game.
The ball with Marnie as they clear this out of defence.
It is. Got a target on his back. These two just saying he's pretty ordinary in the first half. So just a nice early possession for him. Right at full back. Country and Cooper clears. Flyers were wanted, coming hard from the back with Smith, who had a terrific first half, as Nick and Joe mentioned. Numbers at ground level. Geez, he's been throwing the footy. That's a hot call, but I guess you've got to show some intent to get rid of it.
Tom Paul's been given
a 50.
And a 50 for abuse, I reckon.
Not happy with what he's said to him, Lockie Smith.
I reckon, is that Matty Fields, the Amos umpire, taking Tom Paul all the way to the goal line?
Matty Oakley.
Matty Oakley, sorry.
He's a field umpire.
He's a field umpire. Goodness me.
So he's got every bit of that 50-metre penalty.
Has he ever?
No surprise that's come from a VAFA umpire.
Top
of the square.
All of a sudden. All of a sudden.
The unmissable. No, it was just a couple long. That's all right.
This game's gone in fair spirits, and now Joshy's throwing bombs up here, Nico.
Yeah, well, it's 2-on-1, so there's plenty of time left in the game.
So Paul with the goal and the perfect start for the VAFA. It's what they would have wanted, I would imagine. Stu Power in the rooms at half time.
Well, as you said, probably that half-time siren came at a good time for the Amos because the country were right on top, so they wrestle a little bit of the momentum.
So Harry Thompson again comes in off the line. His man does not follow him in this time. Billy Kanakis now. His kick is smothered well by Thompson in there. That's Marcus Thompson of Vic Country. He comes out now to Pavlu, tries to run away, but he's caught. And picking it up now, Cooper burrows his way back in. He finds the boundary line tri-style. And the umpire will throw this back in, right in front of our commentary position. A couple of minutes into the second half, it's 4-4-28. The Amos, Vic Country 4-8-32. Ferrado and Michael are going to go at it again. Ferrado won it down into the path of Paul, who cut a swathe through them, sends it inside 50. The kick towards Harper. The fight down there from Smith. He's set upon by Green. Managed to get a handball out to the side. Now chasing him down. The cries of ball. It comes back out. The kick from Hill inside 50. It's all the way. He's got it. Harry Hill.
Well, we've seen him do it plenty of times for Brighton in big games, Joey. He turns up in big games, Harry Hill. one of the best goal-kicking midfielders in the Amos. Just sets it up there at the top of the 50 and just puts it on its way. Lets the breeze take it all the way. And what a start it is to this second half from the Amos.
5-4-34 to 4-8-32. The vice-captain, Harry Hill, kicking the goal.
Once again, Tommy Paul playing a leading hand in that piece of play, Joshy.
Absolutely. Get the feeling this game will be won in the middle of the park in the second half, and Paul started tremendously for the Amos. Bit of a scrap on through the middle of the park. Players go flying out of the stoppage too. One of them was Pettifer, who's pushed right up there for Country. Strong tackling going on. Not much happening between all of that. One of the ball up.
Just holding his head there.
Yeah. Yes.
Fisher.
2-point leads to the Amos way. One down. That was a heavy hit on Pettifer. Getting himself a free kick. Kane Pettifer. Probably want him getting on the end of this kick, if anything. I think Pettifer just hangs it up in the breeze. Looks for McCarthy to fly. Came from the side, couldn't quite. Cole, little fumble, just shoveled forward. But the Amos with all the numbers. O'Shea was clean. He has been all afternoon. Just driven to the outer side to gain some territory, if anything. Right to the outer side. Green, this is a big footy. He has 3 to beat, and he'll be happy to see it over if he can do it. Country just keep it in. No, they don't.
Great work.
Josh Green will be wrapped with his efforts there.
3-on-1. He just needed to get it to the boundary line, and he's gone toe-to-toe with Mark Wiley in that chase there.
Superstar Josh Green. AFL experience. Both of them. Him and Wiley. Tap to the front. Rokar just missed it. Comes now to him. He gets away from Pavlu. His right foot ball inside 50. The numbers form. Flying for him from the side. It falls to Kanakis at ground level. His handball up to Freezer. Missed him. Thompson went through it. Overran him. Now Pat McKenna did well to pick it up. Shot it back to Thompson. Got it to McCarthy. The left foot ball is too hot. And it falls to Harry Hill. The vice-captain for the Vicks today. The captain of Brighton. Harry Hill has a bounce. Tries to run away from Manor. Did it okay. Goes up the wing towards Tom Fisher. Tom Paul did well to rove this. They're running through the middle. Inside 50 they go. The numbers form. Harper, was he held? He was. The umpire said yes. Matty Oakley down there.
Yeah, that was good. Really well held. He's held his position beautifully there. Timmy Harper putting the pressure on. I think it was it Lockie Smith?
It was.
Yeah, so he's just held him out beautifully, used his body well, and given himself another crack on goal. And I think we'll see him kick through the ball a little bit more than we did a couple of minutes ago.
So he's already had one crack this quarter. Tim Harper a lot closer in. The wind seems to have stopped. It's on its way from Harper. He likes it straight away. Straight through the heart of Vic Country. Goal to Tim Harper. They move further ahead. They've kicked 3 already.
And it all started with Harry Hill down back, just taking his time. But Tom Paul, once again, once it hit the midfield, Tom Paul's acceleration through the midfield, then use inside 50 was phenomenal.
6-8-44, or rather 6-4-40 to 4-8-32, an 8-point lead.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden too, isn't it? Happening quick time.
Now keep your eye on this, boys. Harry Thompson has run off centre-half forward each stoppage, and Cooper has not gone with him.
Yep.
It happens again.
He's just looking to sit back in the hole, isn't he? Cooper. It's a dominant fist. Comes to the middle of the ground. It was Thompson again. Strong tackle laid on him. But the Amos emerged with it. Driven back inside. 50 again. Fist came from Smith. Did a good job. And it goes out of play. 60 around from goal for the Amos, who lead by 8 points.
I just wonder with that, with what we heard from Spud talk about Cooper, why he isn't going with him and being an influence at the contest.
Well, as you've seen today, I guess moving inside 50 hasn't been elite from either side, so you pump it forward, he's just going to pick it off all day. Michael
had front position and palmed it down. Hayes on the turn with his left foot. Dobson flew high from behind and then butters up his own work. See that? That was magnificent. Now they flick it by hand. Roker over the top, finds Horbury in some space. They flick it by hand again, taking the bounce. There's no one home. Nick's spot on, just lobs it up in the hope that Thompson can mark. Couldn't quite. Little fingertip job. McCarthy, quick fumble. The handball from Thompson was hot. Strong tackle by Horbury and followed up. Another stoppage, 40 out from home.
I just wonder why Thompson didn't keep going and go on the right foot. He tried to turn back in. Obviously, 2 Amos players set upon him. So the tap down from Ferrado to Fisher. He got a kick out, but it falls to Roker on 50. The pain of 50 for Vic Country. He'll send this back in. The numbers will form. The one hand was thrown out by Dobson. It came now to Pavlu. He got it out. The kick, though, from Marnie. He shot it goal. It's going right to the line. It's just missing from Brett Marnie.
Well, great pressure from the forwards from AFL Vic Country there to allow Brett Marnie to have that shot on goal.
So Freezer will bring this back in, kick it as far as he can, right up the centre of the ground. The numbers now with the Vic boys. Picking it up, doing well, just got it out. Fierce in there is Sean Manor, doing enough to get his little boot to ball. Marnie's in there as well, piling in. The umpire will have this footy in the heart of the centre square. The ammo 6-4-40, Vic Country 4-9-33.
Hasn't this one just clicked up a notch?
Yeah, it has,
the last couple of minutes. Really getting fierce around the footy. Not that it wasn't before, but it's just gone up even further, you feel. Roker was nutmegged. Just tumbled forward at ground level. Looping handball over the top. A little fumble from Mattingly and coughed up. And they go forward again. The VAFA, Harper to half forward. Neat kick two. Finds Quinn, who wheels and goes quickly. Good looking kick two. And he's got his man. Finds Harry Hill again.
There was a moment there where you wouldn't have blamed Tommy Quinn, who is a prodigious kick of the ball, to take his time and go back, but obviously looked around to the top of the square and inside 50, and Harry Hill once again pummeling inside 50, running super hard. He was just got the ball down back moments ago. Sets up for his second shot for the quarter.
His second goal of the afternoon.
So Harry Hill, decorated player, comes in, likes it immediately. It's a strong start to the third term for the VAFA. It's their fourth goal of the term already.
He's the first multiple of the afternoon, Harry Hill.
Well, things have really opened up. Both sides. So, but from a Amo's perspective, obviously Harry Hills and Tom Paul are the two that have really lifted. Both very similar players and the hard-running players that we spoke about pre-game that are going to go all day. Fisher
explodes away from the centre stoppage. Inside 50, Josh Green is on the runway. It's a great fist from behind down there. That was by Sincotta. He's having a great little battle with Josh Green. Beautiful. And now Vic Country can pick it up and clear for the moment. He comes to Keo. He's set upon well by Nick Wood. The man from St Kevin's, the man for all seasons, Nick Wood. He's Nick's tip every year to win the Amos version of the Brownlow.
Do you think
even in the years he's not playing, Nick tips him.
You think I like the way he goes about it?
Just a touch. Mosley tried to come through. The kick went high up and under. It does fall now to McKenna on the wing side of the ground. The kick to Baird. He comes across to Horbury. They link up now by hand through Roker. His little ball to Thompson, who's inside 50. Now he wants to go quickly. He does. And he just finds his man. The umpire's paid it. Yes.
Had to be.
Yeah. And it's Sean Manor, the man he found from Lavington. The man I asked at half-time to give me a little bit more, Sean. And right now, he'll go back. This will keep him in touch. They trail by 13.
Well, clever work from Marcus Thompson. Just to take his time and not blast away when he had every opportunity to do just that.
Thought he was going to turn and go too, Nico, but you're right. He did just lower his eyes and look for a teammate in unselfish fashion. And now Sean Manor steadying himself. Bit of time with Richmond in the VFL this year. In he comes, Sean Manor. The kick is terrible off the boot. It's out of bounds on the full. From directly in front, he kicked it out on the full. The far pocket, the margin 13 points in favour of the Amos.
It's difficult to do that. Miss it by that far.
Probably outdone Pavlu for worst kick on goal so far today, boys.
Yeah, Pavlu's left foot wasn't great, but you're right, that's right up there. So the ball to half forward, strong fist came from behind and out of play, about 55 around from goal for Country.
It's the version of a shank, if you've ever seen one.
Genuine.
Well, he just tried to get the 9-iron out and chip it through the goals there, didn't he, when really probably should have brought the 3 wood and belted it, but, you know.
Didn't look overly confident in his run-up either, did he? Bit proppy in the lead-up. Just bundled forward, but Kanakis is on the scene for the Amos, but not his best kick. Intercepting it was Marnie. Couldn't quite be clean. Laser tackle. Rip-on was brought to grounds. With a ball up just outside 50 for Country.
Thoughts on Billy trying to go across the ground, Nico, in that part of the ground.
Yeah, dangerous. Dangerous.
Fortune favours the brave. Unfortunately, it didn't come off for him on that occasion. It now came out the back. Baird's in there, the captain of Vic Country. He's set upon by Pavlu. Not going anywhere. Now, Adam Baird, who is the captain, 4 flags with Golden Square, we mentioned earlier, won the best and fairest in an absolute canter last year.
And he's been playing rep footy since 2009.
So he knows what these days are like. And he probably knows, even though he's had a lot of them, that they're few and far between. You've got to take every one of them. And right now, the Ammos are doing just that. Pavlu lowers the eyes. All on his lonesome down there is Critchley for his second of the afternoon. He bombs it through.
How did he find so much room by himself?
Sam Critchley kicks the goal. They have exploded this quarter, the Ammos, and kicked 5. 5 goals won to 1 behind this term. They are 8-4-52 to 4-9-33. The margin is 19 points.
They've certainly come out with a bit of a harder edge at the start of this third quarter, and Joshy said it before, they've gone up a notch probably from what we saw in the first and second. So both teams cracking in, but at the moment the Ammos just using it that little bit better.
Certainly are, Joshy, at 19 points, and it's not beyond Vic Country. We saw them in a quick flurry, kick 3 quick ones. Right now, they've got it all to do in front of them.
And it's all starting out of the middle. They are dominating out of the middle of the park, the Ammos, and Green, nearly a clean pair of hands against St Cotter, who just did enough. Horbury brought to ground. The ball up again in a dangerous position. There's just no resistance out of the middle at the moment.
I noticed now it's Ben Daru standing at centre-half forward, coming in off the line, and again, Cooper not going with him.
Tossed up. Ball at ground level. Michael, strong tackle. Brings his man straight to the ground with another ball up.
And I understand what you're saying about Cooper being the kick behind, but it's not working for them right now.
Well, obviously he's got instructions to do what he's doing at the moment, and as soon as Spud and his coaching staff change things, that's what we're likely to see.
Mattingly's kick was smothered, just bundled forward by Pavlu. Green, little soccer, in danger against Josh Green, going the way of Alex Sincotta, goes very short, risky kick too. The mark wasn't paid either, but Ryan did a decent enough job. Geez, Tudor waited for it, but did enough and then leaves the ball behind, so they're just putting pressure on themselves at the moment. Vic Country, Smith, they're just mucking around with it at the moment. Horbury goes by hand. They're flicking it around still. They're trying this game by hand. It's being brought undone at the moment by the Ammos, who apply enough pressure, and it'll be ball up, 70 out.
It's a good point you make, Joshy. They are trying to do the handball, but I reckon they're working better when they're kicking it, the Vic Country boys. By hand, just maybe the perceived pressure. And now the margin is against them. As Gabe Hamilton explodes away from this stoppage, he kept it low as he went inside 50. Kanakis was clean. He shot it to Wood. He got it back to Hill. The handball went over the top to no one in particular. Quinn in space, but it was flicked away. And now it's O'Shea and McKenna going at it. It fell back to Green. Went to Harper. Got it to Harry Thompson. Now he stands and delivers the Trinity Ruckman, but it's a minor score, 1 behind.
Just want to go back to what Paddy McKenna did there. He was 2-1. He was outmatched, and he just flicked it over the top and saved a certain goal.
Absolutely, it was a massive win by McKenna. Brought back in by Horbury. Right onto the pump here, Vic Country. Brought to this near side.
That's a strong
we speak of McKenna, nice pair of hands. Pat McKenna squares it up. Nice kick too. Finds Manor, who then swings it over to the outer side. And to Cooper, who dropped the mark. He has Tudor inboard if he wants. Goes shorter than that, but it's a risky kick to Smith, who made it look a lot better than what it really was in the end. Short ball over the top. Now to Keogh at half back.
And this is what we've seen them do. And when we've moved the ball well, they've slowed it down, and they've just looked for targets and just tried to keep possession of the ball by foot.
That kick missed Marnie, but it got back to Keogh. And he's chipped up the line to a contest with Michael. It overran him, and it found its way over the boundary line. 8-5-53, that's the Ammos. Vic Country 4-9-33. They went in at half-time, 11 points up. They trail by 20. The VAFA have exploded in the third term. Daru tried to get it away from that stoppage. Umpire said none doing. Oh, free kick. So it's going to be Vic Country with the ball through Cam Tudor. Got to use this well. He kept it low. His chip coming out to meet it. McCarthy, a strong mark in front of Cam O'Shea. Now on the paint of 50. Can he kick this, Josh? Or will he look for options?
Nah, it's right on his limit, this.
He'll look to set it up. He kept it low. He didn't really hit it all that well. It's a worm burner. Freezer came out to meet it. Got the handball to Wood. Freezer met heavily off the ball. He's down at the moment. Freezer, keep an eye on him, Nick. Pavlu runs through the centre of Icon Park. Now towards Critchley, who flies. He kept it down. He couldn't quite take the mark. He's got to go to work at ground level. Tapped it back into the path, but Vic Country can clear. Although it's a fumble at the moment, it came back out the side. They can clear through this kick, and it's with Cam McCarthy, Lincoln McCarthy. Cam McCarthy. I'll get it right eventually.
Clever kick from Tudor it was to McCarthy, who found Horbury.
Surnames only.
Swung it wide, kicking board. Their foot skills letting them down at the moment. Country, they're under a lot of perceived pressure and actual pressure at the moment. Freezer did well on the back line, and now the ball with Daru at half forward, who was encroached by two. Horbury was one of them, goes back by hand. They go through the middle again. Finds the hands of James Hayes at true centre half back for Country. Left foot balls need enough. Found Manor, who chips over the top. They've got runners on this outer side. If they can get it to him, they've got Keogh in the middle. And they've also, trying to pick up who that is in there. That guy's swooping through. Just coughed up at the vital time again by Country and Freezer. And then found Lappin, who clears from the back pocket.
So his kick goes out to the wing. Nick Wood's in a foot race with Wiley, who was on the ground doing well to get it up to Horbury. Horbury showed a little bit of candy to Nick Wood. You don't do that, son. But he did a
Big bit of candy too.
Oh boy. It was in Kodak moment stuff. Freeze control. Inside 50 this kick will go. It was low and flat. It didn't hit anyone. And Sam Michael's going to see this over the line. Now Nick Wood showed some candy.
Jeez, you could sell us to the Eskimo, boys. That was as much candy as you're likely to see.
The ball going to be thrown back in. Vic Country in attack. They need the next goal to stay in touch. They trail by 20 midway through the third term. Daru missed it. Michael came back to him. The handball. Tom Paul trying to get away from Cole. Not happening at the moment. They're burrowing in. The kick came out from Lappin. It was high up and under. Sitting under it is Thompson and Horbury. It fell to the back. Harper. He's being tackled by three Vic Country boys, including Mattingly. It came back to Horbury. He shot it back to Mattingly. Tried to get away from Harper. He couldn't. The kick, though, low inside 50, taken right on the paint of 50. They're going to turn and go. And now it sits with James Hayes. The third term. Co-captained Uroa for a little period. Back to him. The handball even co-coached them as a player.
Not a massive goal kicker, just the 12 from his 12 games this year.
So James Hayes from right on 50. He sends it right to the tip of the goal square. In fact, it's gone all the way. It carried.
Let's make it 13 from 13.
What a kick from James Hayes. And that keeps him in touch.
That was just phenomenal. He kept it low too, obviously kicking into the breeze there. He's kept it low to get a little bit more distance, not get held up in that breeze, and brought him to within a couple of goals now.
8-5-53, the Ammos. 5-9-39. Vic Country. They've had more scoring shots. They trail by 14 points, Joshy.
Much needed goal too. Just arresting a bit of that momentum, if I can spit that out, Nick.
We've all had those moments.
Back in the middle. Michael jumped early. A couple of Country boys got in each other's way. So another clearance for the Ammos. Deep inside 50, nearly a really strong mark reeled in, but they emerge with it again, Country. And now Marcus Thompson got it from Horbury, goes by hand. Horbury kept running right in the middle of Icon Park. He tried to sell some more candy. He likes his work, I reckon. Ball inside 50, but coughed up. That Freezer down there it is. Swings immediately onto his left foot. Good looking kick to the outer side and finds Sam Crocker.
So Crocker brings it back inboard to Nick Wood. They're definitely taking more dare and flash, the Ammos at the moment. The ball's on the far side of the ground with Nick Pavlu, who started the game in a blaze of glory. Just couldn't quite hit the scoreboard, Nico. Had a lot of shots at goal, but he's been good today. He kicks it inside 50. This one's going to go too long as well. It's out of bounds on the full. Nick Pavlu brought his own share in the opening term to Icon Park, Nick.
He has. He's been one of the Ammo's better players today. A couple
trying
of times
to get away from Cole.
down, but
Not
finding
happening
plenty
at the
of
moment.
it.
So on the far side of the ground in front of the scoreboard of Vic Country at the moment. They go up the wing, the pack forms, come to the front, the captain Adam Baird. His kick just goes to no one in particular. In fact, he found the captain of the Amos, Josh Freezer. His switch comes inboard. He's got Corey Cassidy.
Cassidy just chips over the top. Quinn just hovered in the air to take the mark, goes to centre half forward. Good looking kick too, strong fist came. Country emerged with it now. Smith just calm under a bit of pressure. Finds Mattingly at half back, who goes very short, so McKenna had to dive and take the mark. Wants to go, but
to the tip of the goal square. In fact, it's
Cassidy
gone all
knows
the
what he
way.
was trying to do.
It carried.
Let's make it 13 from
McKenna.
13.
What a kick from James
footing
Hayes.
right down below us.
And that keeps him in touch.
Just hangs it down the line. Ordinary looking kick too, but McCarthy made it look fantastic.
He's hurt himself
Came from the side and took the mark, but Michael
Brought him to within.
get the free kick in the end too.
5:53.
McCarthy
The
will be
Amos.
all right.
5-9,
Ryan's copped the knee.
39.
Michael just works it inboard. The ruckman.
Had more scoring shots.
Nicely
Goal by
done.
14
Aubrey
points.
swings it wide on the left foot. Now Tudor from 55 finds his man.
Great play. Really great play.
Really well worked.
Nathan
Well,
Horbury's
those
been the
moments.
reason they're back in
Back
this.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Michael jumped early.
Footy,
The
hasn't he?
country boys got each
He's so
other's
fleet-footed,
way. So another
really
clearance
uses it really well.
for the
But
Amos deep
Sam
inside
Michael just
50
chiseling
nearly.
into top of the 50
Really
there.
strong mark.
Beautiful
Reeled in,
foot
but
skills
they
for the big man.
emerge with it again. Country now. Marcus Thompson
attempt
got it
that
from
to
Horbury,
kick
goes
it
by
along, pull it
hand.
off.
Horbury
Bit
kept
audacious
running.
from the big
Right
man.
hand.
I wouldn't be doing it if I was the ruckman,
He
but
likes his work, I reckon.
he knows his
inside 50, but
ability, Sam
coughed
Michael.
up. That freezer down there it
So
is.
it's 2 in a row.
Swings immediately onto his left
For
foot.
Vic Country.
Good looking kick to
Adam
the other
Baird
side and finds
hits
Sam
the
Crocker.
post.
Crocker brings it back
Would
inboard
have
to
been
Nick
a
Wood.
good goal in the context of this one.
Taking more dare and flash
Captain's
the
goal.
Amos at
So
the moment. The ball's on the
Pavlu's
far
on
side
the
of
wing.
ground with Nick Pavlu.
So running with
Started
Horbury
the
at the
game in a
moment.
blaze of glory.
Talking about Nathan Horbury in a
Couldn't
moment.
quite hit the scoreboard.
He's a
Nico.
superstar.
Had a
Where he
lot of
plays
shots
some
at
of his
goal.
footy and the way he plays
He's been good
right
today.
now, it's
He
coming
kicks
to
it
the
inside
fore.
50. This one's
He
gonna go
comes
too long
out.
as well.
This
That's
is
down
inside
to the
50 through Thompson. Coming out to meet it is Sam Michael. What a mark in front of Josh Freezer.
He has. He's been one of the.
You just spoke about the big ruckman's capabilities. That mark is sensational.
Well, he's really lifted in the last.
Burrowing far side of the ground in front of
He's
the
one of the
scoreboard.
players
Vic
that we
Country at the
identified
moment.
early on would be
They go up the wing, the pack
given his
forms,
experience
comes to
and
the
given
front, the captain
the
Adam
influence
Baird.
that he can
Free
probably
kick just goes
exert
to
in
no
his
one
game
in
as
particular.
one of the big
And the
men, and
captain
he's
of
really
the
standing
Amos,
out.
Josh Freezer.
Gone with a big run up as well. He's got a 25-metre job from Sam Michael.
Chips over the
Come
top.
in and kick from 30-odd metres.
Just hovered in the air to take the
Slow,
mark, goes to
methodical.
centre
He's
half
put it on
forward.
its way. Bang!
Kick too
He's
strong,
got it.
fist came.
Sam Michael
Country
kicks the
emerged
goal.
with it now.
2 in a row
Smith
for Vic Country.
just calm under a bit of
In this
pressure.
game, 8-5-53,
Mattingly.
6-10,
Half back, he goes
46.
very short to
Points.
McKenna.
I
had to
mentioned
dive and
Nathan
take the
Horbury,
mark.
Nico. You
Wants
think
to
Baird has
go,
done
but-
well with 4 flags and goal to the square. Nathan Horbury, 4 straight best and fairest with Redden, all moving to South Bendigo to coach them.
Good going in there. Just hangs it down the
2015,
line.
2018.
Horbury looking kick too, but McCarthy made it look
Now,
fantastic.
coaching South Bendigo this year.
He is. Side and took the mark, but he's showing his class too. Get the free kick in the end too. Shown for South Bendigo this season. Michael just works
underway.
inboard.
Baird
The
was just
ruckman.
nudged off the footy.
Nicely done.
Ball up right where he
Aubrey
started.
swings
Interesting,
it
we
wide
talk
on
about
the
Sam
foot.
Michael and how good he's been.
From 55,
Interesting, Danny Frawley
finds
tried
his
to
man.
appeal with AFL Vic to get Lockie Veal from Colwack to play as the ruckman. He's been suspended, but so Michael wouldn't have been playing if Lockie Veal was playing. He said he was his first selected, but Michael's the beneficiary of that. Ball's just below us with Ross, who was tackled firmly the ball up.
He's proving every bit of himself at the moment. He's had a great day.
So we said a lot about Veal too, and he's talented. He's out there, clearly quite a talented man. But when Sam Michael's your backup rush, he's got some depth.
Maybe next year or the next time they play, they could be 1-2 in tandem. As Cole tries to get away from this stoppage, he's back in burrowing after it. It fell to Sean Manor. His handball just went straight up and under and set upon was Rippon, who was taken high in the tackle. And the tackle there was by Kane Pettifer. Wanted to wrap Marshall Rippon up as soon as he got the Sherrod. Eyes lit up. Bendaroo now coming out to meet this ball. Did well to trap it, got it to Gabe Hamilton. Now Gabe keeps it low towards Josh Green, who's got 2 to beat, and all to do in front of him. Sincotta did well to shoot the handball out the back. Cooper can take the clear and kick to the wing, although it's intercepted by Connor Lappin, and he's going to send it back from where it came. And Josh Green again has got 2 to beat, and again Cotter wins it out, shot the handball back to Smith. The umpire said free kick advantage, and it's now with Adam Baird, the captain. He goes inside, lowers the eyes. Mark taken out there by out of bounds on the full. Kick from 30 odd metres.
Jason Cotter's been good.
Slow, methodical,
Might be
put on
biased.
its way. No, he's been
One of
super.
ours,
He's got
but
it.
he's been
Sam Michael kicks the goal.
this afternoon on a very good
2 in a row
player.
for Vic Country.
Freezer at full back from his own goal
Game,
square.
5:53
To Ross.
10:46.
He plays on, gets inside Pettifer. Kicks right towards us and finds Rippon. Marshall Rippon goes inboard to O'Shea, who hasn't been as busy as he was in the opening couple of quarters. Vital for the Ammos. Goes back to go forward here. Use Crocker, who swings it wide, just has enough on it to beat Bosley. They work it round the outer side now. The Ammos, the ball with Rippon again. No, it wasn't, sorry. It was Knackers, excuse me. Work it back inside Freezer. It just worked up to the middle of the ground and goes back to O'Shea. They're using the footy intelligently here. The Ammos, O'Shea now drives it, pulls the trigger, goes deep inside 50, but Lockie Smith, again, the thorn in the side for the Ammos.
He swings across the front. Man, Lockie Smith.
Real methodical build-up from the Ammos there.
First real time we've seen them hold possession like that. Go across, back, rather than just go forward, which worked for the opening 10 minutes of this quarter. Rippon intercepted the handball. It came now to Cassidy, got it out the back to Hill. Now O'Shea just kicks a high up and under. It's going to go to the paint of 50 where Nick Wood's in a contest. Roving it. Bush Fisher just went off the ground, kicking in danger. It's got to come back.
That's probably played into the
It
hands
fell
of
to
the
Sean
Ammos.
Manor. His handball just went straight up and under. And set upon Rippon, who was taken high in the attack. Three-quarter time, Brad Ryan was going to take the free kick, but what a quarter of footy. If you're a fan of the Ammos, they kicked 5 goals to take the lead, 8-5-53 to AFL Vic Country, who kicked 2 goals to 6-10-46, and as we turn for home, it is a 7-point ball game. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we've got the final term. It is the Ammos by 7 points at Icon. 2 to beat, and again, Cotter wins it out, shot the handball back to Smith. The umpire said free kick advantage, and it's now with Adam Baird, the captain. He goes inside, lowers the eyes. Mark taken out there by out of bounds on the full. Kick from 30 odd metres.
Jason Cotter's been good.
Slow, methodical,
Might be
put on
biased.
its way.
No, he's been one of ours, but he's been
Sam Michael
terrific.
kicks the goal.
This afternoon on a very good
2 in a
player.
row for Vic Country.
Freezer at full back from his own goal square.
5:53
To Ross.
10:46.
He plays on, gets inside Pettifer. Kicks right towards us and finds Rippon. Marshall Rippon goes inboard to O'Shea, who hasn't been as busy as he was in the opening couple of quarters. Vital for the Ammos. Goes back to go forward here. Use Crocker, who swings it wide, just has enough on it to beat Bosley. They work it round the outer side now. The Ammos, the ball with Rippon again. No, it wasn't, sorry. It was Knackers, excuse me. Work it back inside Freezer. It just worked up to the middle of the ground and goes back to O'Shea. They're using the footy intelligently here. The Ammos, O'Shea now drives it, pulls the trigger, goes deep inside 50, but Lockie Smith, again, the thorn in the side for the Ammos.
He swings across the front. Man, Lockie Smith.
Real methodical build-up from the Ammos there.
First real time we've seen them hold possession like that. Go across, back, rather than just go forward, which worked for the opening 10 minutes of this quarter. Rippon intercepted the handball. It came now to Cassidy, got it out the back to Hill. Now O'Shea just kicks a high up and under. It's going to go to the paint of 50 where Nick Wood's in a contest. Roving it. Bush Fisher just went off the ground, kicking in danger. It's got to come back.
That's probably played into the
It
hands
fell
of
to
the
Sean
Ammos.
Manor. His handball just went straight up and under. And set upon Rippon, who was taken high in the attack. Three-quarter time, Brad Ryan was going to take the free kick, but what a quarter of footy. If you're a fan of the Ammos, they kicked 5 goals to take the lead, 8-5-53 to AFL Vic Country, who kicked 2 goals to 6-10-46, and as we turn for home, it is a 7-point ball game. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we've got the final term. It is the Ammos by 7 points at Icon. 2 to beat, and again, Cotter wins it out, shot the handball back to Smith. The umpire said free kick advantage, And it's now with Adam Baird, the captain. He goes inside, lowers the eyes. Mark taken out there. By, out of bounds on the full. Kick from 30-odd metres.
Jason Cotter's been good.
Slow,
I think he
methodical.
might be biased.
No, he's been
One of
super.
ours,
He's got
but
it.
he's been
Sam Michael kicks the goal.
starting on a very good
2 in a
player.
row for Vic Country.
Freezer at full back from his own goal square.
5:53.
To Ross.
10:46.
Plays on, gets inside Pettifer. Kicks right towards us. And
Three-quarter time at Icon Park. The Ammos 8-5-53, leading AFL Vic Country 6-10-46. At half-time, they trailed by 11 points. They now go into three-quarter time with a 7-point lead after 5 goals to 2 in the third term. Nick Armistead, you're in charge of the Ammos. Let's get that out here, right here. You are in charge.
Well, for any country callers that don't get your facetiousness and sarcasm, that is absolutely
You are the
true.
voice and face of the Ammos. You are in charge of the media. But you, as a fan of the competition, would be very impressed with what you saw.
Oh, absolutely. Going into half-time, we probably felt that the country on the precipice of a strong win they could probably run away with it if the boys didn't come out hard, and that's exactly what they did. I thought the intensity really went up. We spoke about that in that third quarter. It really went up from what we saw in the first half. It was Tom Paul who really started dominating through the midfield. And there's a clearance battle. I think Josh said it early on. There's a clearance battle where we really got on top. Tom Paul, Harry Hill, who kicked 2 goals in that quarter, and Sam Pitcher got on the end of one when he got 3. He's now kicked 2 goals for the game. Joey
Has kicked goal this year.
has not kicked a goal for St Kevin, so I don't know if Guy Martin's watching, but just know, Guy, that Sam could obviously go forward. But seriously, it was a great quarter. But I think we saw that in the first half as well. When we think that the Ammos are probably getting a run on, and they've kicked away to a 2 or 3 goal leads, within a space of 2 or 3 minutes, the country just have this ability to cut it up through the midfield. I mean, some of the Geelong boys through the middle, they were flowing through there like the Barwon River at times. I tell you what, they were silky as you like.
I'm with you, Joshy. Oh dear. there are no words, Joshy. From a country perspective, as bad as that call was with the Barwon River, we saw in literally the blink of an eye in the last part of the second quarter, you guys, the country boys, kicked 4 goals.
Yep.
In quick succession, and we saw, as Nick mentioned, in 3 minutes of play, they've cut a 20-point deficit to 7. Now, they're going to come out breathing fire this final term. Spud, who he said himself was embarrassed and had his pants pulled down 2 years ago in this game, will not leave any stone unturned right now.
Right, and they've got to take the game on, and I think that's when they've looked at their
Three-quarter time
best.
at Icon
I would
Park,
say when
the
they've
Ammos
looked to show a bit of dare by foot
leading
and by hand,
AFL Vic
that's when
Country
they've played their best footy.
6-10-46. At halftime, they
Nick's
trailed
spot on,
by
the
11
middle of the
points.
ground, they
Now
got
go
absolutely
into
slaughtered
three-quarter time.
when
7-point
VAFA
lead
piled on those
after
goals, so they've got to be strong in the middle and hold up,
Nick
and
Armistead.
then hope that Pettifer can start. I don't think he had a possession that quarter came Pettifer, so they can get back to isolating him and making him that key target. That'll go a long way towards them regaining
You are the
and
voice and
hopefully
face of the Ammos. You are
gaining
in charge of
victory.
media. I'm going to put a little challenge to both of you. Josh, you as a fan of the Ammos for a second. You're 7 points up. You're the coach of the Ammos.
Yep.
You don't want to save the game right now. 7 points, as we've seen, is not going to be enough. They probably need to continue to attack the footy. Who do you want to see from a playing perspective? Push and push and push right to the line.
For an app from Ammos' perspective.
Yeah, I want to give you a little challenge.
Oh, geez, I'd want Harry Hill to keep going the way he's going. He's that little cream from what I've seen of him today, that real class. I think he's one you got to get the hands in the footy of, and his hands on the footy, I should say. And Paul as well was terrific in that third term. I'd be telling those two to just keep barreling in, and if you guys get enough of the footy this quarter, we're going to win.
All right, Nico, you're going to be Spud. You want AFL Vic Country. Give me 1 or 2 names of players that you want to see to get the 7-point margin down, gone, and then get in front.
Well, as we saw in the third quarter, Nathan Horbury was absolutely phenomenal. Fleet-footed, dances on the dollar, as you'd say, Joey.
Shoot the light, fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic in that third quarter, so I want to see him continue to do that. And I've just noticed that Sam Critchley's gone back, and he'll be playing on Sam Dobson. That's the matchup combined that you want to watch.
Keep an eye on it. I'm going to nominate Gabe Hamilton as my man for AFL, VAFA, that is. For Vic Country, I'm with Nico. Nathan Horbury is the man. It's inside 50 straight away for the Ammos. Pavlu's trying to pick it up. He does now. Shot it to Harper. The left foot snap. Is this the dream start? No. It's a minor score from Timmy Harper. One behind.
And once again, it was Tommy Paul who dominated and burrowed out of the 7 clearance.
8-6, 54, 6-10, 46. An 8-point go as the ball is in the back pocket, and it's with Alex Spud, who
It is.
said himself was
Done a terrific
embarrassed
job on
at
Josh
the
Green
hands
today.
of the
Nice
game
kick too.
in this game.
He's always been
Will
good
not
by
leave any
foot.
stone unturned.
Cincotta finds Sam Michael has also been excellent for country today. When they've looked to show it up into the breeze on his best kick. Stretching mark taken by Critchley. Mention has gone back for this final term. Chiseling ball inside is nice to Kanakas. And then hopes that Pettiford's options here on centre wing. Strolls through the mud. Camo Shea. Key target. Kanakas just hangs it up to 50. Mark nearly taken by Smith, but couldn't complete the juggling act. The ball spills out. Hot hands. Flicked over the top. Geez, the spin of the trouble from Wood was terrific. And then kicks to the hot spot. Nearly found the chest of Josh Green, who can emerge with it. Cincotta was first on the scene. Bundles it out and just over the head of O'Shea. In the middle of the ground now, country with McKenna. Left foot ball to half forward. Who's going to win this? Nicely done by Ross, who's tackled firmly by McKenna. He's ball up at half forward.
The other thing you might have seen there was Critchley's little block to allow Ross to come through and grab that footy.
Well, there was pressure on Ross there. He had to leave his man. He had to make a decision whether he's going to leave his man or not, and he stopped, I guess, a shot goal.
Marnie can clear this from the contest. It goes high up and under, flying in from behind. Ross went to double fist. The roving from McCarthy was sensational, but it's just missing. And a minor score, all clear, one behind. Gone. And then Critchley and Ross would have waxed lyrical many times at St Kevin's training. Done that over and over again. The ball comes back in. It's with Sam Crocker. A great year with old Carey. In the back pocket. Up the line he goes. Harry Thompson sits under it. Flying from behind was Ferrato. Comes now to Horbury. He tried to get away from Fisher, but none doing. He's handballed it straight out of bounds, holding the ball. Tom Fisher. Strong tackle. Pavlu's trying to pick it up. He'll go a long way to helping the Amos in the last 20-odd minutes of this game. No. It's a 7-point lead, 54 to 47. Fisher goes up the line. Flying from Ferrato. He couldn't quite take it. Hill roving it. He's bumped out of bounds by Cooper. The umpire will throw this back in right in front of AFL countries in a challenge bench.
We've got a little bit of that. We've spoken about it in our broadcast, I suppose, throughout the year. Brighton have a little bit of attitude about them, so you expect to see the Brighton boys put the chest out, shoulders back, like we've seen with Fisher and then Harry Hill, and really take this game by the scruff of the neck.
Michael nicely down to Hayes, who kicked to centre half forward. Big contest on here. McCarthy would have had the wheels there, but free kick was paid to Freezer, the ammo skipper, from centre half back. Josh Freezer. Take his kick now. Tight ball game this one. Set up nicely for a bit of a grandstand finish. Freezer's asking players to come at him, and there's not his best kick. Dobson swooped in. Went back to Keogh, who kicks off a step towards Pettifor against Ross. Brings it to ground. Freezer shows a nice clean pair of heels. And the gather too, but his kick isn't his best, and it floated out in the full, I think.
You wouldn't have seen Josh Freezer kick two poorer kicks this season, but I just want to go back to Connor Ross and Kane Pettifor, who's probably out of position there, but to hold his own and affect that spoil.
Tell you what, boys, do not count Curtis McCarthy out of this.
Oh, wow.
These are the sort of goal. He'll miss the easy ones and kick the hard ones. He's that sort of player.
We'd love it if he kicks it
this
now,
will really
Joshy.
This will really get the crowd up and about.
Just watch him kick it out in the full, probably, but if he is going to kick one, it's from right on the juncture of 50. He just helicopters it to Michael. The knife's on his chest.
Boy. The big ruckman. The big ruckman was all on his own.
I don't know what happened there. Breakdown in communication from the big V defenders. But for Sam Michael, the biggest man on the ground at 200 centimetres, to find himself alone at the top of the goal square, unforgivable.
To bring it back to 1 point. The ammo's way. Sam Michael from directly in front. Slams it into the post. Sam Michael. Oh boy, could that prove costly for Danny Frawley's men.
Well, you couldn't blame him for not trying to kick through the ball. He's tried to put it in Hawthorn, but he's just unfortunately tried to put it through the post.
So the kick comes out from Crocker. He went short to Critchley in the back pocket. Sam Michael, the golden opportunity. Hits the post from point blank range. Well, that's going to come straight back in. The mark is intercepted on the far side of the ground. And Keogh on 50 takes the mark. Now, you'd know better than us, Josh. Can he go the journey?
Well, he just judging by his body language, he likes his chances straight away. He turned the back.
He's going to have to kick it all of 50, then some. The kick comes out for Keogh. He went short to Critchley in the back pocket. Matches camo shades for the Tats. Golden opportunity. In he comes. He gives it everything he's got. It's right to the line. The pack forms. Again, Michael flew in from the side. The Ammos can rove it. The kick comes towards Baird. He's going to be set upon by Harper as soon as he gets it. He is. The umpire will come in, have this ball.
Well, he just judging by
better defending from the Ammos on that occasion.
Straight away, he turned the back.
He's going to have to kick it all of 50, then some. The kick comes out for Keogh. He went short to Critchley in the back pocket. Matches camo shades for the Tats. Golden opportunity. In he comes. He gives it everything he's got. It's right to the line. The pack forms. Again, Michael flew in from the side. The Ammos can rove it. The kick comes towards Baird. He's going to be set upon by Harper as soon as he gets it. He is. One's the city, one's the country. It's out of bounds in front of the Ammos bench. They lead by 6 points. From the Ammos on that occasion.
Just a straight kick in it. Geez, that Sam Michael miss. It's just hard not to think that could be a decisive moment in this game. Brought in, Michael tries to work his way to the front, but couldn't quite. Keogh burrowing in, it was nicely done by Paul, and then got it to Hamilton, and the squaring kick from Rippon. Has to be careful with that. Coughed it up. Geez, working his way out of trouble was Hayes. Beautifully done, Hayes. Drives it deep and through for a behind.
He missed Pettifer running all straight to him on his line.
Carried all of 55
metres. Decisive moment in this game.
James Hayes
brought in,
edging closer, one behind at a time.
And Marshall Rippon will be breathing a sigh of relief after that turnover.
And then got it to Hamilton, and the squaring kick from Rippon. Has to be careful with that.
Fraser's going to bring this footy back in.
He's working his way out of trouble was Hayes.
Kick comes to our side of the ground. DeRue's under it, Fisher as well. Roving it Mattingly. Shot the handball back to Keogh. He's set upon by Hill. Michael again below his knees. Sensational stuff. Inside 50, go Vic Country. The kick falls to Pettifer with a quick snap from the boundary. Oh, cutting across Nick Wood. Rather Connor Lappin did it well. Goes out of bounds. It is 8-6-54 to 6-13-49.
All the pressure
back in.
Really on
To our side of the ground, DeRue's under it, Fisher as well. Last night, you might have seen Collingwood have 17 or 18 inside 50s to the Eagles too. It was just keeping it inside, their attacking end of the ground that overcame the Eagles. Pettifer with a quick snap from the boundary. Oh, cutting across Nick Wood. Rather Connor Lappin back in. Numbers with Vic Country. It comes out now, the quick snap. It's a goal. It's a wonderful goal from Marcus Thompson. They're in front.
Well, that's exactly it. Just keep it inside your forward 50 and you will get opportunities, but you need to make the most of those opportunities, something I haven't been able to do until Marcus Thompson just got on the end of it there. And hasn't he been good, particularly in his second half.
7-13-55, AFL Vic Country. 8-6-54, the Ammos. A 1 point ball game midway through the final term, Joshy. The quick snap.
Wow.
It's a goal. It's a wonderful goal from Marcus Thompson.
My tip's looking
They're
excellent.
in front.
Could be a
30 seconds ago, Michael.
yeah, all our tips are looking pretty good at the moment. Back in the middle, and it's the Ammos who win the all-important clearance. Get it inside 52. One down at ground level. Kanakis first on the scene. He was brought down by 2. No call by the umpire. It was interesting. Should have been holding the footy. Smith clears on his left foot. It's all Ammos though. Hamilton takes the mark. Kicks off a step. It's a nice kick too. Hill's got some space to work with here. Kicks from just outside the paint. Oh! Tries the big screamer in his own last line of defence. Interesting, but I like the bravery. The ball doesn't spill. It does spill out. Darren goes by hand. The quick left foot snap by Cassidy is a goal.
Amazing. How was the hang from Tudor? Jeremy Howe style.
Well, he almost put his back on it and thinks maybe what if I did end up punching it.
Hill's got some space to work with him, just outside the paint. Tries the big screamer in his own last line of defence. Interesting, but I like the bravery.
Pops up for his
ball doesn't
amazing. 9-6-60 the Ammos. 7-13-55. 15 scoring shots to 20 in favour of Vic Country. Bringing the changes down there is Spud Frawley. He's trying to get his captain back on. Harry Thompson in the ruck. Tapped it down. Tom Paul like a bull. getting through, but he's been held up. And Cole, the umpire was blindsided though. Maybe just threw it out.
Yes, so.
Nick Roker. No, moved out. Go unwhistled. Inside 50, go Vic Country. Coming through is Ross. He got the handball, did it well. It comes now. That's through Harry Thompson. Came out to Josh Green. A steady head required. Got it to Tom Paul. Got it to O'Shea. The stringer handball. Inside 50. Here's Kanakis. Can he make a name for it? Right hand, he can. Billy Boy. What a mark.
Fantastic use of his body from Billy Kanakis. He was outmatched for size, for strength, but just used his body beautifully down with the one hand. Now, Billy has, by his own admission, you would think, said to himself, boys, first 3 quarters, I have not had the best game.
That's through Harry Thompson.
Not had the best day.
Came out to Josh Green. A steady head required. Got it to Tom Paul. Got it to O'Shea. Won a couple of flags with St Kevin's. He won the goal kicking last year. Part of the side that went to Adelaide. Well credentialed. He spent a bit of time at Footscray as well this year. Now he's on the runway to extend the margin for the Vicks. Big Billy, stand and deliver. It's no good. Out of bounds on the full.
Just in his kicking action there, you see he just leaned back on it, and that's the reason he's right.
Big build up. Sausage, no sizzle.
So Albury comes out of defence. Short ball to Sincotta, had a man right in his hammer. He neat it was to Loka, who's been a bit of an unsung hero, I think, for country. He's got a lot of the footy today. Neat kick 2, finds Baird, who turns and goes quickly to Pettifer. Wow, beautiful kick onto the chest.
Out of bounds Ross.
Strong. Pettifer wasn't really sighted in the third term, was he? But kicked 1 goal freak today and had 2 out in the full. Comes out of defence as well. So Sincotta had a man right in his hammer. Yes, Nick. It was to Loka, who's been a bit of an unsung hero, I think, for country. He's got a lot of the footy today. Neat kick 2, finds Baird, who turns and goes quickly to Pettifer. Oh, that's right, then, aren't they? Pettifer from right on the paint through the middle. Gain Pettifer retakes the lead for Vic Country by just a solitary point.
Goal. 8-13, 61, 9-6, 60. 7 point play to go.
We did mention earlier if there was ever a draw, what would happen. So we do know that if it is a draw, the timekeepers have been instructed to just keep the play going and to the side of
Golden point. I wanted to tip a draw, but you wouldn't let me.
Takes the lead.
So we will have a winner one way or another. One down by Michael into the path of Paul. It came back to Michael. He's wrapped up by Paul, going nowhere. Heart of the centre square. You would say there's still 2 or 3 goals left in both of these sides the way we're going at the moment. After the first quarter where there was none kicked, 11 point was the lead at half time. Vic Country 7 for the VAFA at 3/4 time. Nick Wood gets it inside 50. Cassidy was there. So's Kanakis. Roving it well. Doing nicely was Vic Country. Can they clear this ball? They can. It's through Sincotta. He's had a great game today. The little chipping ball. They can steady for the moment in the back half of the ground.
It's Cooper who swings it very wide, but they've got some space to work with. It's Manor who's on the burst on the outer side. Loopy handball over the top, misses the target, but runs on, does a good job. Over the top now, does find Manor, who takes a bounce on centre wing. Runs forward to centre, kicks inside 50, but kicked in favour Pettifer, and Ross took a very good mark.
Strong battle they've had today, the two of those.
He's giving away a little bit of size, isn't he? There's a whistle. Cooper, who swings it very wide, but there was whistle. I did hear a whistle. Did you guys know? Who's on the burst on the outer side. So O'Shea goes short over the top and finds Green.
I'd love the two of you to decide who has won that battle between Pettifer and Ross. I know Kane had 5, 6 shots to goal, but Connor's done really well. Didn't contest the marks. Ball now falls into the hands of LaGrice, who just goes, stops and props. He shot the handball to Paul, who gave the Dustin Martin. Don't argue. His kick went 5 or 6 metres forward along the ground. Now he's back, burrowing back in. Harry Thompson's there, wrapping up Michael. Cries a ball. Umpire says no. I'll have this footy. The rain cloud just comes over the top.
Imagining that just unloaded on us.
Liven things up. 6 shots to goal. Who would that favour with a 1 point ball game? Thompson doing the ruck work. It comes now to the Vicks. It's with Kanakis. The quick snap from Billy. It's a behind. They're level. His kick scores a level, Nico.
Jeez, it is
Now he's
on.
back, burrowing back in.
Billy, he just seems to be teetering on the edge of breaking out here, Joey. He's missed opportunities, but you know he's a big game, big time player.
Cloud just comes over the top. No barracking whatsoever coming from Mr. Ummerstead.
Brad Ryan goes short to Horbury, who played on and got himself into trouble.
Now, hang on.
He's forced to rush it, which gives the lead back to the VAFA for the time being. Now he plays on again in the safety of his own goal square this time. Kicks to McCarthy through his hands. Thompson, nice roving. Keogh, Thompson goes again. Shovels a handball out. Hot handball for Dobson, who's collected by a couple. The ball up just forward of centre wing for the Ammos. Ryan goes short to Horbury, who played on and got himself into trouble.
Hang on.
He's forced to rush it.
Very good job second half.
Ferrado back on the ground, straight into the path of Wood. Tom Paul went off the ground. He has been huge in the second half. Here is Billy seeing it over the line. Alongside Alex Sinclair, who I think may have made the move to stand Billy now.
Shovels a handball out. Hot
Billy, the
handball
one
for
who's most
Dobson,
dangerous.
who's
Josh Green playing a bit
collected by
higher
a
up the
couple.
ground. In fact, Josh Green is at the back of this stoppage. Gabe Hamilton standing road car. In we go. The tap, it falls towards them. It went through both of them. Cole got a little kick away over the head, but coming back to retreat it, doing it nicely. Zigzagging his way out of trouble there was Sam Crocker. The left foot to no one really in particular. Flying across with Smith. Came down to Vic Country. They sent this back up the line. Crocker flew with a big right fist. Fell to Lappin. Sends it back from where it came. It falls into the hands of Elliot LeGrice. He finds, is he going to find Billy on his own? No, it's Tommy Quinn. Now, Nico, a couple of weeks ago, we called a game with Tommy Quinn, who kicked the goal from this exact spot over the head, but coming back to retreat it.
Different circumstance.
Very much so.
Not the pressure, but
Sam Crocker.
he has spoken. He is a prodigious kick of the ball. I just fear that the wind or the slight breeze that is still out there is not favourable.
He's backing in himself, the number 5 in the big V, Tom Quinn, with a 50 meets the arc. The kick's on its way. It's set up to the goal square. They fly. Roaming, it's Tom Paul. It's a minor score, another behind. They edge further ahead with minors.
Hasn't Tom Paul's performance in the second half single-handedly kept the Ammos in?
So it's 9-9, 63 to 8-13, 61.
Has been terrific, Paul. In all areas of the game. Driven out by Horbury. Dobson. Got great hands. Should be paid a free kick or a mark.
The number 5 with the
Take your
big
pick.
V, Tom Quinn,
Sam Dobson
with a 50 meets
looks
the arc.
towards us and goes to hits Bosley on the chest. Nice kick.
Roaming, it's Tom Paul.
No,
It's a minor
40
score,
goals in the
another
GFL this year
behind.
to top the tables, but
Further ahead.
quiet day for him so far this afternoon. Horbury down the line, just enough on it to Michael, who's been terrific. Goes by hand to Cole. They've got to be careful here. Dobson caught with it. Should have been holding the footy, but look at the numbers stream forward for the Ammos. They're going forward now, inside 50. Big footy this. First on the scene is Brad Ryan, does a good job. Chips over the top, not his best. Does it fall for Josh Green? He's nearly pushed in the back, got his handball clear. Rippon was tackled well. And we'll have a stoppage just outside the paint of 50.
Cooper earlier when the ball went inside 50.
Terrific.
Really, really
Goes by
well.
hand to Cole.